So some of you might be wondering, well, why did you split up your day 18 into 2 sections? Is it a ploy for money and ads and suspense? No, I put to be continued at the end because it was going to continue. And this is the final thing I'm going to say about it.
Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, you can buy me a crown. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now.
That's a bison. I filmed the story beyond the footage that I had for how I left trail, what happened, why everyone knows that it's an injury, but I'm walking without a boot. So I want to tell that story, but I filmed it, started editing it, and my editor, partner in crime, said that I looked cross-eyed the whole time, and that was really distracting. Okay, so the first video was me crushing it, and if you watch the 2 videos successively, you can see it almost looks like a different day. You can see something's wrong, the switch has flipped, and basically I got really hot. I made the mistake of taking a break at about 10:30, and as you see in the footage, I'm still trying to get there. I know it's the desert, and you know, I did the best I could. I should have just sat down at 10:30 and waited until like 6:30 or 7, but you know, you just learn from your mistakes. Anyway, so I called a friend or texted a friend. I called my husband crying. I don't know what that must have been like for him, to have your partner be, you know, upset and feel like there was no way out. By the point that I called, my friend said, hey, you know, there's really no way to get out of there except for continuing forward. Just, you know, keep going. I had about 3 miles left. I had already gotten to second gate. And she just said, just keep going, take lots of breaks. As I got up, got my pack on, everything was running through my brain. I had back surgery in 2019, and the pain in my foot was similar to the pain that I was feeling when I ended up with back surgery. So I started obsessively thinking that, you know, I'd done something to my back, was obviously stressing out because of the heat. I had some major stomach issues. I was losing a lot of water. I had enough water. It was just one thing after another was building up. You know, my foot is just killing me, to the point where I'm limping so bad that I was scared that I'd fall off a cliff. I wouldn't, you know, have the ability to get help. That section, the water cache, is off the PCT, and it's not very far, but it's pretty steep. And you know, I sat down again after getting another 1.5 miles, and I just broke down crying, and I reached out to many friends that had done that section. I didn't know what to do. So once again, I stood up and I tried to walk, to just see. I couldn't move. Like, I could not. It was like a numb sensation in my foot that was not only numb, but really painful. And I couldn't walk. And then, like, acute panic set in. What I didn't realize was that I had been panicking internally for about 4 hours. And, you know, the reason I'm coming out here and saying exactly what happened was I need people to know who have symptoms like me or have an atypical brain like me, that the PCT is a great equalizer. A typical brain and a typical body, it is so hard just for typical people. And to think that my atypical brain could handle that level of stress without accommodations was really stupid and an error in judgment. And it wasn't until after I got off trail that, and I was checked out, and they did a EKG, and they assessed my foot, made sure I didn't have a break. They put me in a boot, and I went home. It wasn't until I went shopping with my boot and crutches, came home, I'd gotten art projects for my daughter, art supplies, and came home, that I took off my boot, and I intended to get in bed and elevate it, and then my daughter needed her supplies. I got up without a boot, without crutches, took her supplies to her room, came back, absolutely no pain, could walk, and it was at that point that I realized the only body part that took me off trail was not my foot and not my leg, but my organ, the brain. And that was a hard pill to swallow. I was embarrassed. You know, there's this stigma that, like, overcome your mental issues. Like, that's what people, especially people on trail, like, you can do it. Girl power, you know, I said rainbows and whatever I said in the last video, you know, it's not all cupcakes and sugar plums and all of that. But it's not. And so I was taking this motivation, and I'm not blaming anyone but myself, and taking it and believing it. And I can do it, but I can't do it without accommodations. So as you can see, I'm walking with my pack. I intend to return. The only reason I intend to return is because of this message that I'm trying to put out there. One of the first responders that helped me off the trail came in once it was very clear that I didn't break my leg or have any major acute body symptoms, and I was now fully hydrated. He said, you know, are you gonna go back? And I was like, at the time, I was like, are you crazy? I can't walk. I could have, you know, I need to have an MRI. Like, there's something seriously wrong with me. And he said, well, I think you should go back once you get better. It's really important that you get this message across. Because I told him, you know, what I was trying to do. And it was devastating for me to have to get off trail. As you can see, watching the videos when I'm hiking with someone, it's a totally different person. And my level of stress is totally different. You know, is it gonna happen again? Probably not, because I'm not gonna hike without a partner. So I'm taking the next 2 weeks. I'll probably be out back on trail. The plan is in 2 weeks. I know it's only gonna get hotter, to see my psychiatrist / talk therapist, and we're gonna discuss this plan. And before I do anything, I'm going to get his support. But in the meantime, I have a schedule, a general schedule, and I have a lot of you guys and a lot of people on Instagram that I've sort of known and been following over the years that have reached out and said, hey, I'm in section C. When you get to section C, I would love to hike that with you, and I will support you in any way. And what I hope to get out of this is not only to continue to spread this message of mental health, and also to forewarn people that have these symptoms that they need to take these this situation and use support. I'm not afraid to ask for help, and I just didn't know that I needed it. Now I know. I know people will disagree with my decision, and you know, that's your right to disagree. But I also think that there are a lot of people out there that are getting something from this that maybe I don't understand, but I also respect, like, the story needs to be told, it needs to be visible, and I need to be okay with saying I made a mistake, I need help. That's just the way it is. I'm gonna do me, I'm gonna take care of me. I will update you guys about my doctor's appointment, and I also am going to be spotlighting some thru hikers who have offered to donate their miles to hike for mental health. So this week I'm going to spotlight Minnie. I want to thank you so much for following. I hope you'll continue along on my journey.